A new car, a white picket fence, a couple kids, and a spouse. You hear these things and you think of the American success story, most likely because it's what you've always been taught to aspire to. It is better known as the American dream, and the driving force behind the American dream is consumerism. Now, the Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines consumerism as a theory that an increase in the consumption of goods is economically desirable. Now, I'm going to focus on three main points today: our pattern of war and consumption, the things that influence consumerism, and how we influence consumerism. Now, it's important to remember that everyone's individual and everyone's dreams are individual. So, my American dream might look very different from yours. But with that, let's get into the first topic of our pattern of war and consuming. I thought of two good examples, being World War I and World War II. Now, World War I was followed by one of the most iconic periods of consumerism, the Roaring Twenties. And it's important to remember that World War I sparked innovation and changes in the arts and things like that. A great example of this change can be found on the U.S. General Services website. And it talked about an architecture and arts building project that was started in the 19-teens and had to be put on hold because of the war effort. It was restarted in 1922. And again, it focused on arts and architecture and things like that. The next thing I want to talk about was World War II. Now, World War II is a little bit different than World War I. It was followed by the baby boom, which led to people having to provide for much larger families. All these new kids, you've still got to buy new things for them. So this led to things like side hustles like Tupperware, and that's one of the most common ones. Everyone has seen the plastic Tupperware containers that started off as an at-home sales thing. The main point that I want to get out of those two examples is that war makes the economy good because there's good jobs left over from factories and things that go into the war effort to boost the economy, making our consumerism go up and up and up and us spend more money. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is things that influence consumerism. Now, one of the main things that I want to talk about in it is how our upbringing influences consumerism. So a great example can be found within family. My parents, like many people in Arkansas, wanted to retire out on a piece of land and live out their days in their dream house on their farm out of town. That's something that I share with them and something that I work towards. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is how entertainment influences consumerism. Now, this got really interesting whenever you look at when TV got brought into the mix. So we spend a lot of time watching TV, and a lot of the things that we want are influenced heavily by TV because our stars and our icons and the people that we like to watch have certain things. We want to be like them. So a great example of this can be found very recently with the creation of the Travi Patty, or the Travis Scott meal from McDonald's. It blew up on the internet, became a viral thing, and by putting an icon's name on a meal that was already produced, we wanted to buy it. We wanted to have it. We had to have it. And so it was a huge success, and things like that are very common. The next thing I want to talk about is how we influence consumerism. So going back to the idea of our family and what our family does, you can see a good example with our parents and cell phones. So cell phones were just becoming a thing whenever our parents were younger, and now everyone has one. It's almost like a status thing to have an iPhone or a Samsung, whatever it might be. Another great example of this is technology in cars. So when our parents were younger, again, there wasn't as much technology in vehicles, so a radio, a nice sound system, anything like that could be the thing to make a luxury car a luxury car. Now, based off of that and how much we enjoy technology in cars from things like that, we have products like the GMC Denali that has every bell and whistle that I can even imagine and some that I can't. So the main thing that I wanted to say is consumerism is ever changing. We make our own American dream, and it'll be different from everyone. So go out and make your dreams your reality. Thank you.